Who may be joining us by video. Welcome to the December 15th meeting of the Village of Pinehurst Historic Preservation Commission. The purpose of the commission is to decide applications for certificates of appropriateness for new construction or major work within the Pinehurst Historic District, and to do so by conducting hearings and making findings of fact when such applications come before us. By law, the commission is directed to take no action except to prevent construction or alterations that would be incongruous with the special character of the historic district. My name is John Taylor. I'm the chair of the commission, and I'd like to ask each commissioner, starting from my far left, to state his or her name for the record.
Kara Mathis.
Thomas Schroeder.
David Herring.
Barry Lurch.
We are missing tonight Richard Vincent, who I understand is under the weather at the moment. And we are down to 6 full members, but we have 5 here, so we are a quorum and we can conduct business. Our first order, and I'm sorry, also present are Maria Carpenter and Alfred Cassidy from the Village of Pinehurst staff. Our first order of business is to review and approve the minutes of our last meeting. All commissioners have been provided with copies of the draft minutes. Do any of the commissioners have any suggested changes?
Move to approve.
Hearing none, we have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in,
I have a question. And is that for both sets of minutes or just the one?
I think we can do
Clarity
both.
is all
I
I'm
think we can do both sets of minutes in one motion.
I think we can. I'm just asking for clarity on the motion, whether we're voting one or two.
I believe the motion is to approve both.
Why not?
Okay, I agree.
So we have a motion. I believe it's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Minutes are approved. May I now have a motion to enter the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are now in a public hearing. This is a quasi-judicial hearing. That means that anyone desiring to testify must be sworn in, and the commission is required to consider only facts presented in this hearing. The proceedings are video recorded. I ask the commissioners if they have visited any of the sites on our docket today and whether they've had any ex parte communications with respect to any of the cases we will be considering.
Kara Mathis. I visited all sites and have had no ex parte communication.
Thomas Schroeder, I visited all sites, have no ex parte communication.
John Taylor, visited all, no ex parte communications.
David Herring, visited all, no communication.
Terry Lurch, visited all the sites, no communication.
In each case that the commission will hear this afternoon, staff will first present a summary of the application, staff's evaluation of the extent to which the application complies with the commission's standards for such an application or raises issues that require further information, the staff's comments on the application, and where appropriate, staff's recommendation for commission action. The application and its supporting documents, as well as the staff's detailed report, will then be entered into the record. Commissioners will have an opportunity to question staff about this report and testimony. Next, the applicant or applicant's representatives will have an opportunity to provide any additional information supporting the application and to address any questions or issues identified in the staff's testimony. Commissioners will also have an opportunity to question the applicant or the applicant's representatives. After the applicant's presentation, if any member of the public wishes to present evidence, either in support of or in opposition to the application, please come forward at that time and identify yourself. I will swear you in and give you an opportunity to present any reasons why you believe that the application should be granted or denied. Please remember, the commission is interested in facts that will help us decide whether the proposed work would be congruous with the special character of the Pinehurst Historic District. As chair, I have the right to exclude testimony that is not relevant to that subject, but I'm not required to do so. If the commissioners will have an opportunity to question you or your representatives. If the applicant or staff wishes to respond to testimony, I will permit them to do so. We will now proceed to our first case.
I got a point of clarification I'd like to bring up.
Certainly.
Because this is a quasi-judicial, I believe that to pass a motion, we still need 4 votes. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
It is not a majority of commissioners present. It is 4 votes, a majority of the total commission.
Okay, I just wanted to make that point clear. Thank you.
So I think the first hearing is a COA 2022-00211, and
I'm going to have you swear us in first.
I think we do have to swear both of you in. You're both presenting today?
Yes.
If you could both please stand, raise your right hand, state your name, and spell your last name for the record.
Maria Carpenter, Carbenter.
Alfred Cassidy, Cassiddy.
You swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to all the cases on our docket today shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
I do.
You are sworn in. And who's presenting 90 Linden Road?
That'd be me. All right. The purpose of this public hearing is to consider a request for a major certificate of appropriateness within the Pinehurst Historic District for the addition of a cupola, removal of a tree, and changes to previously approved COA 2022-00002 at 90 Linden Road. The property is identified as Moore County Parcel ID number 000-14733. The property owner is Catherine Pate, and the applicant is Wemmark Properties, LLC. The applicant requests a certificate of appropriateness to build a cupola to the pool house, to add a cupola to the pool house, remove a damaged tree, and modify the previously approved COA 2022-00002 by adding an exterior staircase and increasing the building height by 22 inches. The structure was built in 1895. This is considered major work because it is new construction or additions not considered minor work, and it does involve the removal of healthy trees 12 inches or larger in diameter at breast height along the street side of a property that are not located within the right-of-way. Okay. There we go. The meeting was noticed in accordance with the PDO and North Carolina general statutes, and you can see the subject property hashed out in the center, and the notified properties are outlined in red. So here you have some elevations of the pool house that shows the cupola that will be added, as well as the pool house as it exists right now. And here we have the previously approved elevations for the garage and the proposed modifications. So you can see that they are adding a staircase to the side, or to the rear elevation, which is requiring them to increase the building height by 22 inches. And here is a photo of the tree that needs to be removed. You can see at the top that there is some damage there. Couple standards under additions and accessory buildings. Additions and new accessory buildings such as carriage houses, garages, and other buildings must be compatible with the character and scale of the primary structure and must be congruous with the character of the Pinehurst Historic District. Windows and doors in additions and accessory buildings should be similar to those in the existing primary structure in their proportions, spacing, and materials. The height of an accessory building must not be taller than the primary structure and must be smaller in scale than the primary structure. New wooden features or details or replacement of a missing feature or detail or element must be compatible with the architectural character of the structure and must be congruous with the PDO, or with the Pinehurst Historic District. Wooden surfaces and features must be in colors that are in the Village of Pinehurst color palette. Paint and stain colors for exterior walls, architectural elements or details, decks and porches must be compatible with the architectural character of the structure, must be congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District, and must be in the Village of Pinehurst color palette. Darker colors are recommended for trim and accents only. And the removal of trees 12 inches in diameter at breast height and larger must not unreasonably compromise the existing tree canopy and the historic appearance of the landscape. The applicant has submitted an application and provided additional documentation in an attempt to satisfy the burden of proof. The commission will need to determine if the proposed changes are congruous with the historic district and if they meet the historic district standards. And at this time, I'd like to submit into the record the staff report with attachments and exhibits. This presentation and the application and applicant's materials and exhibits.
Without objection, the materials referred to by staff are admitted into the record. Do commissioners have any questions for staff?
Just a couple. Do we know the height of the existing house relative to the garage?
I do not off the top of my head, but you can ask the applicant that.
Okay. Secondly, the colors of the handrails, stairs, and so forth, can we presume that they will match colors already approved in the previous COA?
For the railings on the staircase and the
Yes,
exterior?
And the cupola, for that matter?
You can ask the applicant that. I believe they would match the trim that's on the building.
Thank you. That's all I have.
I have one question. You mentioned the PDO. Was that a
was-
misstatement?
That was a misstatement. That
Okay,
was the
thank you.
Pinehurst Historic District.
Thank you. I just want, for the record, to clear that up. Thank you.
Anything else for staff? Is the applicant here or representatives of the applicant? Please come forward to the standing microphone there. Please state your name, spell your last name for the record, and state your relationship to the property.
Catherine Pate, P-A-T-E, and I'm the owner.
I'm William Huckabee, manager of Wimart Properties, licensed contractor.
Please raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to this application shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? You may sit at the table if you prefer. Well, welcome back again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been sworn in. Is there anything in the presentation by staff that you would disagree with, like to revise, or anything that you would like to add in support of your application?
Well, I know that he has the measurements of the house height as well as the proposed height for the garage.
What we're proposing is a 22-inch increase in the overall height of the garage that you have already approved at an earlier session. Also, we're requesting that we be allowed to move the stairway from the interior to the exterior of that building. And I think that the zoning people have given us clearance on that there's no impact on the setbacks. Also, we're talking about adding a cupola to the pool house. That was demonstrated in the information that she put up here. No change on that. We want to remove one more tree.
When I visited, there's an elevation for the height of the new garage in the application. There's not one for the height of the existing house. We do have a standard that says that outbuildings should not be taller than that. Do you know that it will in fact not be taller than the primary house?
Sir, I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
Yes,
With the 22 inches added to the height of the garage, will it be taller than the primary house?
Taller? No, sir. The overall height of the new addition makes the overall height of that building at the ridge line 23 feet 6 inches. The overall height on the house, anticipating this question, is 35 feet plus or minus a couple of inches. So there's basically a 12-foot difference.
My eyes suggested that was the case, but thank you for adding that. Any other questions from anyone else? David?
Just a question of the new components, which would be the exterior stair components, handrail and so forth, and the cupola itself. Can we presume that they will be finished with colors that have already been approved from the previous COA?
we're going to continue and match existing in all aspects of the
Thank you.
project.
Anything else for the applicants? As I said earlier, are there any members of the public who wish to present any evidence either in support of or opposition to the application? If so, would you please come forward now? Seeing none, I thank the applicants. I think the evidentiary portion of this case is now closed. Do the commissioners have additional deliberations among themselves?
If you want to,
No, I'm good.
it's up to you. Okay.
We have a standard about examining the impact of that to the overall canopy. My sense is it would not materially impact the overall canopy. Is there anyone prepared to make a motion?
Make a motion?
David?
Purposes, I get to the right place. I move that the Historic Preservation Commission approve a certificate of appropriateness, COA 2022-00211, and find the proposed major work at 90 Linden Road is consistent with the Historic District standards and is deemed congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District based on the testimony given, the material submitted, and the findings of fact.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? Call for a vote then. Kara?
Yes.
Yes.
John, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Congratulations, you have your COA.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're most welcome.
Again, I'd like to thank you also for your indulgence of us multiple times on this project. Let me say from my professional experience, we are enhancing that corner of Old Town. And your approvals have been obviously vital to us. I cannot say that we won't be back again because it is an ongoing project, and I am working for a lady who is quite imaginative, and I'm enjoying it very much. But trust me, nothing is going to detract from what you expect in our historic properties.
Speaking on behalf of the commission, we wish you well, but if
Thank
you
you very
need, if you
much.
need to talk to us again, you know where to find us, so.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And
Where
Merry
and how?
Christmas, everybody.
Thank you.
Let me see
Very
here.
welcome.
I have lost my agenda. Here we are. Next case is COA 2022-00212, the property at 45 Woods Road. Alfred, is that you presenting?
You're correct.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the HPC Board. The purpose of this public hearing is to consider a request for a major certificate of appropriateness within the Pinehurst Historic District for renovations, changing the doors, and removing 2 windows in the rear at 45 Woods Road. The property is identified as Moore County Parts ID number 000-19728. The property owner is Peter Carvana, and the applicant is Angela Gorman of Durham Homes Investments. The applicant requests a certificate of appropriateness to install 3 doors. The proposed installation of the doors will be located in the front, side, and rear of the property. The applicant is proposing to install a natural stained wood Dutch-style door to the front of the property. The applicant is proposing to install 2 French doors that will be located on the side and rear of the property. The proposed French door to the side of the property will be a single French door. The proposed French door to the rear of the property will be a double French door. The applicant is also requested to cut a section of the rear of the property to install the proposed French door. The property is further identified as Moore County Parts ID number 000-19728. The structure was built in 1954, and the property is 0.177 acres inside. Major work includes elimination or adding of windows and doors are considered major work required review by the Historic Preservation Commission for issuance of a certificate of appropriateness. The public hearing was noticed in accordance with the Pinehurst Development Order and the North Carolina General Statutes 160D-406. The subject property making the request is located at 45 Woods Road. The adjacent properties listed in red are the properties that received notification of the request. These are photos of the front of the property. The first photo to the left is a front photo of the house. As you can see from the photos to the right, the door is oriented to the left side of the house. These are photos of the left side and the rear of the property. The picture to the left is displaying the condition of the door the applicant is proposing to remove. The picture to the right is displaying the rear of the property. The first picture to the left is the picture of the proposed Dutch-style door that the applicant is proposing to put in front of the property. The picture to the right is a picture of the proposed French door window, French door that the applicant is proposing to put to the left side of the property. The illustration to the left displays the proposed French door the applicant is proposing to install on the side of the property. Like I said, the illustration is a Dutch-style split door. The illustration to the right displays the proposed door the applicant is proposing to install to the left side of the property. The illustration is a single French door with 15 panes. These two illustrations display the proposed French door the applicant is proposing, along with the elevations of the rear of the property. In order for the applicant to install the double French doors, the applicant would have to remove the two windows in the rear and cut out a section of the property. According to the applicable standards, changes to existing residents, doors and windows, Section 3.C.1, adding new doors and window openings or altering or filling existing openings should not compromise the architectural character of the structure and must be congruous within the Pinehurst Historic District. Section 3.5, Section 3.C.5, windows and doors of existing structures should retain their original size and dimension, except as be modified to accommodation code compliance and accessibility. Section 3.C.9, new windows and doors easily visible from the street should be compatible with existing units in proportion, shapes, positioning, location, pattern, size, and details. Applicable standards, porches, entries, and balconies. Section 3.G.1, new porches, entries, and balconies or alteration to porches, entries, and balconies on street-facing elevation must be compatible with the architectural character of the structures and must be congruous with similar elements in the Pinehurst Historic District. Section 3.G.2, front porches, entries, and balconies that contribute to the overall historic form and character of the structure should be retained and preserved. The applicant has submitted an application to provide additional documents in an attempt to satisfy the burden of proof. The proposed new rear modification would not be visible from the public street view. The commission would need to determine if this is compatible with the architectural character of the structure and congruous within the district and state specifically why for the record. At this time, staff would like to submit the following into record: staff report with attachments and exhibits, the presentation, application, the applicant's materials and exhibits. This concludes staff's report.
Thank you, Alfred. Without objection, the materials referred to by staff are admitted into the record. Do commissioners have any questions for Alfred?
I do.
Terry?
In your write-up here, it says the applicant is also requesting to cut a section of the rear property. I don't understand. What does that mean?
Let me go back.
I think that's just for the double French doors.
Yeah, that's for the double French doors in the rear. You see where the two windows are?
In order to install the door, they
I
have to
understand
cut.
the cut. What does,
Like they'll cut around the window and the back side of the door.
Yes.
I mean,
Have to
the
cut
wall.
an
And
opening
these-
to put the doors into, because right now there is no opening, there's
Yeah.
just two windows.
In this elevation right here, it shows the proposed double French doors to
when
the
you
rear of
said
the property.
property, you got me confused. We're going to cut a section of the building.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question too.
Sure.
Just for clarification, I might have missed this. Where's the single French door going? Which side?
To the side of the property.
Which,
the left side of the property.
Okay, the one that you can see coming from Dundee
Yes.
Road. Okay. Do we have?
That one you have shown right there, which, and if you show the front view,
Oh, that's the,
Yeah, that's the side.
that's the one where the single French door is
Yes.
going to go in, and that's on the front view, or on the front view. Put up the front view again. Naveen. That's, I can't point to it.
isn't that where the Dutch doors?
That's the Dutch door is going to the front,
And wasn't that the rear where the double, that last picture, isn't that the rear where the double doors are going to go?
Yes, the rear.
So where's the single front? Like, do we have a picture of the side?
Well, this is the side right here.
Wait, I thought that was the front.
No, no, no.
Back to the front view. Let me see if I can-
That's the side.
Right.
Oh,
Go
so
back to
there's
the-
going to be a side door and a Dutch
Yes,
door?
yes,
It's replacing an existing door. The single is replacing an existing door.
yes.
Can you
And
go
if you go
back
back
to
to the front view, that's where it's not clear.
Where
It's-
that window is.
We don't have a side elevation of the house, just a close-up of the door.
Right. We just have that door. If you step up on that porch and turn immediately, look to your left, that's where the door is.
Where's the Dutch door going then?
That I don't know.
The Dutch door is going to the front.
That's
This
where
is
the
this
Dutch
is the
door
front
is.
of the house.
That's where the Dutch door is going.
Yes.
But where's the single French door?
I
then?
think it's going on the side that we don't
the-
see there in the photograph on the left.
So we don't have
the
a
thing-
photograph of the side one. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
That's what the applicant submitted to me.
Okay, I'm not, that's fine. I'm just trying to, like
Of course.
her, understand where we're at. So, and I'm sure when the applicant gets here, we can ask further directions. Of
course.
And you had a question about the pergola, too.
Yeah, there's just a note in here that says they're going to add a pergola to the back. So I just wanted to see if we had to approve that, if that was part of this package or if that's coming later.
So Alfred, to clarify, in this drawing, this door is replaced with this,
Yes.
right?
And then that door is going to a picture we don't have.
The okay, you see the French door in that picture right there, right? It's replacing that door. That's the door to the
This
that-
is, this
yes.
goes away and this goes in its place.
Yes, like I said, the Dutch style door is going to the front. The single French door is going to the side of the property.
Right.
Which we don't have a picture for. We have a picture of the door, but not where it's going.
But not even really the door, because that's the Dutch door, right?
Right, that's the Dutch door there, correct?
And that's the rear, where the double French doors are going.
This
I think we need to get the applicant up here to answer some
no, wait,
questions.
no, let me explain to you. That's the rear. The picture to the left is where the single French door is going.
Right, but we don't see where in the property that is. That's the door that will be replaced,
Yes.
but there's no picture of the building showing that door.
Well, like I said, this is what the applicant submitted to me.
Okay,
Just clarifying. Right, we don't have a picture of the
Understand.
building.
what we're seeing.
We have the rear of the building, that's where the double French doors are going. We don't have the side of the building where the single French door is replacing that door. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. And the pergola question?
Yeah, so is the pergola, is that and I can ask that. I feel like that'll probably get out.
I,
Is that part
The
of this?
applicant can answer that.
Okay.
Okay, but you've not addressed the pergola in here.
No, not in the report.
Okay. So the question is, do we need to address the pergola in our COA? That's probably the bigger question.
I don't read in the request and background anything about a pergola.
Right, it's just in the little list.
In the materials list.
Ah,
A1.3,
Yeah,
there's just a little added.
There's a list that.
I missed that, thank you very much. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, it says patio, concrete, NA, add white pergola.
Anything else for Alfred at this point? David?
Follow on to the lack of any information at all about the pergola, which will make it difficult for me to approve sight unseen. Secondly, there's a comment about a porch swing, which I don't think we have any say over.
Right.
I believe that to be true,
Okay.
yes.
And thirdly, on the front elevation, there are some lattices in the photograph which do not exist today. Were they, A, removed, or B, are they being added? What's the story on the
Placed.
lattices?
The applicant answered that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else for Alfred at this point? Are there, is either the applicant or the representative here? Please come to the standing mic there, and I will swear you in. Please state your name, spell your last name for the record, and state your relationship to the property.
Sir, my name is Peter Kavanaugh. I'm the owner of the property. My last name is spelled Kavanagh.
My name is Joseph Truther. I'm the licensed general contractor for the project. My last name is spelled Druther.
Please raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to this application shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Great. You are now both sworn in. You can sit if you like or stand, whichever you prefer.
Look very comfortable, I think.
They are.
So you have been sworn in. If there's anything that you would like to disagree with that Alfred had to say, or anything that you would either like to revise, clarify, or supplement, now this is your opportunity to do so.
Sir, I appreciate the work of the staff. I could just clarify a few points and help with the discussion that just happened. I'll move backwards in time. The lattices at the front of the house, that picture is 2 years old. It was not like that when I purchased the property. They were removed by the previous owner. I do not know when. But the current photos that are up there are how the house looks today. I intend to leave it as is. I do not intend to put the lattices back up. As far as the discussions on doors, I have a copy of the floor plan if that would help the committee understand where the different doors are being placed.
Can
What
I
is
make can I just interject? The door that's on the side of the house, the left side of the house,
Sir.
is the door in the photograph in your application. Is that right?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Could we, do you have more than one copy, or can we pass that copy around?
Or sir.
And we'll need to keep that copy for the record, too.
Oh, just a moment to take a peek here.
Okay, so it comes off the utility. There's a mudroom and then utility space.
That's correct. It's just barely visible from the front street, ma'am.
So the covered porch is the front of the house.
That's correct, sir.
The house is longer than it is wide.
Yes.
And I think we've all had a chance to get a idea of what you're proposing here. Is there additional information that you would like to, let's stay with the doors just for the moment, then we'll move on to the pergola after that.
Absolutely, sir. So it's the door on the front will be the double Dutch door. The door to the left of the house, which we call the side door, will be the single Dutch door. And then I believe that single French door. And then the rear of the house, I believe, has been adequately explained. We will replace those two windows with a French door.
And is there a reason, are the pictures that we have the exact style of door you propose to put in, the single and the double doors on the side and the rear? And is
Yes.
there a reason they're not the same, just out of curiosity?
Cost is the reason they're not the same. The double ones are a little more expensive, sir. As design is correct, and then our paint colors will match the approved ones for the committee.
You mean that one has grids and one's
Yep.
just glass?
So one's got muttons in it and the other one doesn't. The double does not.
Correct.
Other information that you would like to present? Feel free to move on to the pergola if you want to at this time, or,
I do have a picture of the proposed pergola design if you'd like me to pass it around.
great.
Being you're giving us a copy of the pergola, then you are adding the pergola to your request. Is that true or not?
Yes, sir. I was under the impression it was in the request to begin with, but if that was a mistake on our fault, we can correct it.
Okay.
The color palette is on the right side there as well. Everything is on your approved palette.
So that's the Buxton blue is the blue, and then
Buxton Blue by Benjamin Moore will be the house color.
what's the yellow, what's the middle, the yellow green?
The middle one, I believe, is our proposed color for, we're not using that one, sorry. It'll just be the blue and the white, ma'am.
Say again,
I'm
sir?
sorry, say that again?
Just the blue and the white will be the ones we're using.
Okay. And that is on the color palette.
Both of those are in the village color palette?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
correct? Okay. This pergola is going to be on which side of the house?
As you're facing the house, sir, from the street on the left. So you'd exit the side door and you'd be standing underneath the pergola.
So it'll be on the left side, extend out from the left side of the house as you look at the house from the street, is that correct?
That's correct.
But behind the fence.
Yes.
Behind the fence, and as you say, you'll come, the single door you're proposing to install, you'll come out that door, you'll be under the pergola.
Correct.
Where does the appliance package go?
Our appliance package is going inside the kitchen, sir. Oh, the HVAC,
Compressor,
sir,
where does that go?
it's going to get moved around to the side of the house, still within the fence line.
The super white listed on your colors doesn't exist in the approved color palette. Can you pick any of, how many, 150
150.
whites? So if you will, pick one of those 150 and use that white.
Absolutely,
Does that work?
of course.
Okay.
We're very persnickety about our whites on this commission here. I'm still not convinced anyone can tell one from another driving by.
I'm pretty convinced they can't, but that's okay.
That is a separate conversation.
All right.
And just a question on the pergola. Do you have dimensions for that? Will it be exactly the same style in terms of the top pieces and so forth?
The style will be the same. The post will be affixed into the ground with cement. I do not remember the dimensions off the top of my head.
We have an issue with setbacks or anything of that nature with which we need to be concerned?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Concerned with setbacks at all?
Okay.
That would be a planning issue, PDO issue.
Other questions for the applicant?
The pergola, I mean, is it in relationship to the house? I'm trying to get a feel for how, some kind of dimension. I don't, it doesn't need to be exact, but are you going to go out 5 feet, 10 feet, or 50 feet? Excuse me.
Oh, no, you're fine.
One edge of it will almost be touching the house where you come out of the side door.
Okay.
The rest of the footprint will be inside the fence line. It's only 15 by 20. It's not very big, sir.
Okay.
Approximately.
I was just wondering a general size to it, to do it. It's inside the fence line.
15 by 20 is a ballpark.
Yes.
Okay.
Other questions for the applicant from any one of the commissioners?
Not to be a nitpicker, but to be a nitpicker. Looking at your plan, there are a couple of steps that come out the side door under the pergola, and there's a little step in the massing of the house right there. Is that the beginning of the pergola? Right there at the door?
Yes.
It goes back to the back corner of the house?
A little bit short of that.
A little short. So looking at your dimensions, I need a magnifier, but it looks like 4.9 plus 5.5.
Over 10.
That's it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Do we need to specifically designate this as exhibits that are being added to the official record?
Yes.
So if we give those to you, can you give us some exhibit numbers that would add to the applicant's package?
Yes, I will.
I suggest 4.1 and 4.2 because we stop at 3.1 in the existing package, so
Okay.
defer to staff on their numbering. I think, thank you then for your comments. At this time, are there any members of the public who wish to present any evidence either in support of or in opposition to the application? Hearing none, I think I will then declare the evidentiary portion of this case closed. Thank you all for your presentation. Is there a conversation among the commission? Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. I move that the Historic Preservation Commission approve a certificate of appropriateness, COA 2022-00212, and find the proposed major work at 45 Woods Road is consistent with historic district standards and is deemed congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District based on the testimony given, the materials submitted, and the findings of fact.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Poll the members for their vote, starting with Kara.
Yes.
Tom, yes.
John, yes.
David, yes.
Yes.
Congratulations, you have your COA.
Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas.
Big improvement, by the way.
And Merry Christmas to you as well. You
Big
and your
improvement.
family both.
Yes, the doors will be a big improvement, so. Our next case is COA 2022-00204, properties at 40 Dundee Road. Alfred, is this you again? I'm guessing, since Maria's not here.
Yes, it is.
Going out on a limb here.
The purpose of the public hearing is to consider a request for a major certificate of appropriateness within the Pinehurst Historic District to demo the existing detached garage and build a new detached garage at 40 Dundee Road. The property is identified as Moore County parcel ID number 000-19908. The property owners are Roger and Nicole Worley, and the applicant is John Mortons. The applicant requests a certificate of appropriateness to demo the detached garage in the rear of the property. The applicant is also requesting a certificate of appropriateness to construct a new garage that would be located in the rear of the property. The new garage will replace the current garage and be located in the same area as the existing garage if approved by the Historic Preservation Commission. The property is further identified as Moore County parcel ID number 000-19908. The structure was built in 1930 and the property is 0.42 acres in size. Major work will include demolition of accessory buildings that exceed 144 square feet. Is considered major work requirement reviewed by the Historic Preservation Commission for issuance of a certificate of appropriateness. The public hearing was noticed in accordance with the Pinehurst Development Ordinance and the North Carolina General Statute 160D-406. The subject property making the request is located at 40 Dundee Road. The adjacent property listed in red are the properties that received notification of the request. And these are photos of the home showing the front, the left side, and the rear of the property. The picture to the bottom right is the garage that the applicant is proposing to demo. And this is a site plan kind of showing where the proposed garage will be constructed. And pretty much the proposed garage will be located in the east rear of the property where the current garage is currently located. And these are elevations of the proposed detached accessory structure. The elevations display the front, the rear, the left, and right side of the proposed garage. The illustration to the right is a 3D model displaying the image how the proposed detached accessory structure will look like once completed. According to the applicable standards, changes to existing residence, additions, and accessory buildings. Section 3.I-.1, additions and new accessory buildings such as carriage houses, garages, and other buildings must be compatible with the character and scale of the primary structure and must be congruous with the character of the Pinehurst Historic District. Section 3.I.2, accessory buildings, including carriage houses, garages, or other buildings, and their features that contribute to the overall character of the primary structure should be retained and preserved. Removal or relocation of an accessory building must comply with the standards of Section 8. Section 3.I.7, the height of an accessory building must not be taller than the primary structure and must be similar in scale than the primary structure. Section 3.I.9, additions and accessory buildings such as carriage houses, garages, and other buildings must be located as inconsistently as possible in the rear or side yards. Section 3.I.11, if building a new garage, carriage house, or other accessory buildings will require removal or demolition of an existing structure, then relocation or demolition must be approved prior to consideration of new construction. Applicable standards, relocation, demolitions. Section 8.B.2, demolition standards apply to all structures and site features within the Pinehurst Historic District, except those specifically under minor work. Section 8.B.6, after demolition, all debris must be removed from the site within 30 days. According to staff comments, the applicant has submitted an application to provide additional documentation in an attempt to satisfy the burden of proof. The proposed accessory building will be constructed in the exact location where the current accessory building is located. The proposed construction of an accessory building will match the primary structure, meet the standards, and could be approved as minor work. The proposed demolition of the accessory structure would need to be addressed prior to actions on the new construction. At this time, staff would like to submit the following into record: staff report with attachments and exhibits, presentations, application, applicant materials and exhibits. This concludes staff's report.
Without exception, the material offered by staff is admitted to the record. Are there any questions? Terry?
Alfred, as I understand this, looking at the drawings here, the driveway is going to be curved, and you're going to come in from the side. It'll be a side-loaded garage.
Yes, like I said, it would be to the east of the property where the current garage is currently located.
So the driveway is going to get a little bigger.
It should be the same.
Well, if it's going to be side-loaded, it's going to have to get bigger.
If I could follow on to Terry, I know you're not responsible for the drawings. There's the indication here of an alley or a lane down what I will call the left-hand side as you come off Dundee Road. When I looked at the property, that looked like it was the driveway of the property next door. There was no separate alleyway. And it wasn't clear to me how you were going to get in from the left-hand side unless the garage is being moved over. This may be a better question for the applicant, but do you have any sense that they are actually moving the location of the garage?
I'm just going by what's been presented to me.
Okay, fine, we'll ask the applicant. I was confused about that myself.
I don't understand it from the drawing.
That's the applicant.
Are there other questions for Alfred?
Yes, I do. And I may have missed this, but there's also a tree that's being removed. Is that correct?
That's correct, but we can administratively approve the tree. We can administratively approve that tree. If it's a disease or a decaying tree, we can administratively approve that.
It's not in the request then. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. That's handled elsewhere.
There was an indication of a tree being removed in the application. I thought that was part of the application.
If the tree is a decaying or a dying tree, we can administratively approve that.
Staff can approve that?
Yes.
So it's not part of,
If it's a
it's
healthy,
not part of our
yeah,
approval?
if it was a healthy tree, then, you have to, we have to approve it from a,
Not part of what the commission is
HPC.
approving then?
Yes, sir.
That was my clarification. It was in the package, and I was asking if that was something we were going to have to consider or not.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that that's been handled
Yes.
outside this hearing. Minor work.
I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that we have the applicant and/or representative here. Please come to the microphone.
My name's John Bortons. I'm the licensed contractor for this job and representation. I represent William Billwood for the job, the new homeowner, not the Worleys.
Could you please spell your last name for the record?
Bortins.
Howdy, my name is Hunter Worley. I am the project manager for Bortons Construction. My last name is spelled W-O-R-L-E-Y.
Thank you very much. Could you both raise your right hands? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to this application shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Go ahead and sit at the table, please. So you have both been sworn in. Is there anything you would either like to dispute from Alfred's presentation or to add in support of your application?
Yeah,
There's
there's
the one question that both Terry and I had.
Yes, sir. Just a couple things to clarify first. So the owner of 40 Dundee is William Bill Wood. He just bought the property, and I have it on my sheet that, maybe I sent you the wrong sheet, though. I don't know. But
More likely, yes, sir.
okay. With that being said, the question about the alleyway and location of the garage. So because it's a side entry garage, and I guess I didn't provide, I thought I provided a survey with the map, but the garage is actually getting moved over approximately, it's going to be 26 feet away from the property line. Right now, the existing garage is, I'm not sure how close to the property line, but it's fairly close.
Look pretty close.
Yeah, so that's how, with your question about the driveway getting bigger, it's going to get longer in length. Yeah, so, and we're going to keep it with that number 75, pea gravel, the bluestone, so it's still pervious and whatnot.
So the driveway is going to parallel the property line, basically.
Essentially, yes, sir. Yeah,
Then you will swing around to the garage entranceways.
that's correct, yeah.
And the little porch that we see is on the front side of the property.
There's a porch that's supported by corbels. That is the side entry. It's going to have pea gravel there. On the back side is a lean-to for the garage.
On the back side?
Yes, sir. That's
Okay,
for
I
the
got it.
golf cart to get
All
parked
right,
under.
I got it.
That large enough to cover a golf cart? That wasn't clear to me from the,
It's 6 foot by 10 foot, I believe, with a 16-inch overhang.
gotcha. Anything else you would like to add in support of your application?
And we're just going to try to keep everything matching the existing structure. You know, all the colors, the trims, everything like that. The garage door that's there, no windows. Same with the 2 side-facing garage doors. It's going to mimic the same door style. It's going to be a Dalton 1900 series, double doors, 9 foot, I believe. Also, it's my understanding that an existing structure, you can take 35% of that square footage, and that's how you get your square footage allowability for your accessory buildings. So the house is approximately 2,024 square feet, and 35% of that is 708 square feet, and that's what we're going for, to stay within the limitations of the impervious calculations that you guys allow in the historic district.
And the 780, how is that roughly in relationship to the size of the garage you're demolishing?
The size currently is 308 square feet. It's really just, they can't pull a vehicle in there and get out. I mean, they got 2 vehicles that they want to have covered. They have nice vehicles, and they don't want to leave them outside, so.
So this may look the same, but it's actually going to be twice as big because it will be deeper, if you will.
Yeah, yes, sir. It will be expanded depth and width, and then, of course, the lean-to in the back as well. And then there's an additional accessory structure. It's like something that someone just threw up for like kayaks and stuff, so that would be eliminated as well. And then just with regards to that tree, the situation with the tree that's been inundated by vines for however many years it's leaning towards the property, the rest of that vegetation on that side, we're going to clean up really nice too as well. So that will be just an added aesthetic feature to, you know, getting rid of. All right, I guess the vines could be historic, but.
Kara?
I have a question. So in the rendering of the new building, the windows, looks like they're 2 over 2, and then the existing ones in the house are, I guess you would call it 1 over 1. Are these the actual windows that are gonna, because you'll be able to see these from the street, right? These 2?
Yeah, you'll be able to see the front 2, you'll see from the street. And what I would have done is my rep from Builders First Source would come out there and he would take measurements, would do it custom, so it matches.
So it's going to match what's on the house?
What's on the
then?
house, yes,
Okay.
sir. So try to keep it congruent.
Match the 1/1.
Other questions from the commission for the applicant?
You mentioned briefly that everything's, quote, "gonna match." Can I elaborate a little on that, if I may? The siding, will it be the same pattern as on the existing house?
That's correct. It'll be a lap siding. I believe the reveal is approximately 7 inches.
Okay.
The color is, it's a yellow color. I don't know the exact color, but again, we would take out our color charts and see what availability is to match it. And there is some siding in the garage, so when they re-side the house, whenever they did, we have that also to go with to try to locate a siding match. And then the fascia is just a white coil metal, and then the soffit is like a perforated white soffit. So that's pretty easy.
Okay, so essentially, all the details and all the materials will match the existing house, including windows and eaves and fascia and everything. When,
I think the only difference would be adding the corbels to support that shed roof for the man door going in. I don't think there's any corbels on the existing house. So
Right.
we can paint it the same color and dress it up so it fits the architectural style of the time.
in white.
And not bright white, but
A white from the color.
For the
palette.
other
Not
150
super
whites.
white.
Yeah. That's all I have, thank you.
I have a question. The application didn't talk about a fence, but your color chart talks about a fence. What we do?
there is an existing fence there. It's approximately 3 to 4 foot tall, like a dog-eared style fence. And when we shift that garage over, it's gonna intersect with where that is, and we're just gonna have to, we'll figure out a way to tie it in to the structure or maybe eliminate it. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But we would keep all that within the setbacks, and it would be,
What do you want to apply for? You got to pick something that we're going to approve.
oh, I'd like to apply for the demolition of the existing garage and then being able to build.
Regard to the fence.
Just with,
Oh, with regard to the fence? Oh, sorry. Well, when we build the new garage, we'll try to make a sense of how to connect it back to the garage. I don't have an exact,
Is this
Dimen-
fence just in the backyard?
yeah,
It
it's
shows
just
a
in the
backyard
backyard. It's well within the setbacks. It's just like a pet kind of.
Yeah.
it's not a boundary fence, it's
No.
all
Not at
inside
all.
the
Right.
property.
No, it's 20 feet.
I don't
in.
think that's us.
So I'm not sure what exactly that's going to look like, but it's either going to intersect and butt into the garage, or it may just step it back, put
We
a
spend a
gate
lot of
over it.
time thinking about boundary fences. Our standards even cover those which are internal to the property? My guess is they don't.
If I've ever read anything that's in there, and there was nothing mentioned in the standards presented by the village.
It's even hard to see from the left side of the regular property. It looks like it's a rear fence, but then there is a picture that shows it running more or less through the depth of the property, but not on the property line.
Correct.
Tom, you said you had questions?
Yeah, I got a couple. Again, my hearing is old and I sometimes fault. The owner of the property is,
William Bill Wood.
okay, so that needs to be changed in the application.
It will be changed. And I didn't, when I initially got the application, it will, I just went by,
No, it's not a complaint. I just want to make sure that it gets
It will.
that the record gets corrected.
yeah,
That's my-
it will get corrected.
Okay. The other, and looking at the proposed, and I agree this is a proposed, and we aren't bound to any of this, but the proposed thing, the proposed motion and sheet and so on, the purpose of the public hearing is to consider requests for major Pinehurst District, demo existing garage, removing a tree, building a new detached garage. Those are the three things that this says, and you're saying that, if I understood this correct, the tree is no longer in this application, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, that was my point. But that I just wanted to clarify again that for
And as a point of order, I believe the demolition is a separate approval from the construction.
typically it is,
Right.
yes. I've seen it done both ways, but
Regarding the fence, under fences, there's nothing that describes where the fence is in order to be part of our review. It can be inboard, it can be on the property line, it can be anywhere.
But that would include like garden fences then, right? And we don't approve
Yes.
that. Like if somebody put a little fence around the
Does,
garden.
does include all fences on the lot.
I would argue that based on the pictures we have, this fence is clearly not in the front, so at 4 feet, it would be permitted whether it is a side fence or a rear fence.
Agree.
but you bring up a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, I agree with that also. Other questions for the applicant?
Can I just ask one like clarifying question? So right now, when you look at the house, it's the house and the accessory building, and there's like a gap in between. If you guys are moving it over and you're expanding it, is the accessory building basically going to be like behind, like if you're looking at the left side of the house, will you be looking into like the middle of the garage essentially?
So, if you're walking up to the existing accessory building, on the right side, there are 4 pink flags staked out that the surveyor put for the new location, proposed location. So essentially, I guess the easiest way to describe it would be where that garage is now, that's gonna be the driveway. And then next to that.
Okay.
if that-
Okay. So it won't look like there's a garage like peeking out from behind the house. You'll be able to see the garage.
Yeah, no,
Like, it
you'll
will
see,
be
yeah, you'll be able to see the
structure.
2 windows.
To belabor that point, if I may, I'm looking at Exhibit A 3.1. Alfred, can you bring that up so we can all look at that? There's a dimension on there that I cannot read, it's just too small.
Was that a 2.1?
3.1.
3.1.
Thank you.
You could zoom into the garage in question. There's a setback distance, at the bottom right of that garage. What does that say?
20 feet.
Did I not hear you say 26 feet?
Must misinterpreted that, yeah.
So 20 feet it is?
Yes, sir.
So can we assume then that your Exhibit A 3.1 is accurate?
Yes, sir, that's Ryan McBride did that survey before the.
So in answer to your question, it doesn't overlap the house at all.
Perfect, thank you.
Other questions?
The only other question is there when they're done, I'll ask that question, because that's a board question. Thank you.
Okay, I would invite members of the public to wish to present any, but seeing none, I think we can probably skip that over.
Correct.
So therefore, I think I will declare the evidentiary portion of this hearing closed. Ask the commissioners if they have any further questions or if there is any further discussion on this application, and I think there is.
I do. The question is on the demolition. We're going to do this in 2-part motion, one for demolition and one for the rest of the COA, right?
I think from the standpoint of timing, we should, yes.
Okay. Second question then is, we're allowed to delay the demolition for up to a year. I see no reason to delay that demolition for any period of time whatsoever. That doesn't, from what I saw, doesn't appear to be any historical value to that existing building or parts of it. So that was part of my discussion, was if anybody saw a reason to delay the demolition.
Speaking personally, I agree with your assessment. It looks like
Nobody else has spoke up, so I guess.
they'd love to leave the garage where it is, but they can't, so they have to move the garage, and they want to make it a little bigger, so they have to move it also, and that's the only way to provide access in the way that is most logical if you're going to leave the garage there, so.
If the garage is part of the 1930 original structure, do we have to talk about salvaging anything?
That was my question, and I didn't see anything to salvage
You know,
particularly.
Only
that
if
was-
there are artifacts or architectural features that would be significant, and at least from the outside, I would not see any that I would think open to other interpretations.
Anything of value in it particularly.
No. We do run across that occasionally, but not, I think not probably in this case. If there's no further discussion, do I hear a motion?
I'll start with the first one. First one is, I move that we allow the demolition of the existing garage at 40 Dundee Road be approved in accordance with the POD and the
If that's the end of your motion, I'll second it.
it is, thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Poll the commission members. Kara?
Yes.
Yes.
John, yes.
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 Motion to demolish is approved. Do I hear a motion on the reconstruction?
I'll continue on if you want.
Certainly.
I move the Historical Preservation Commission approve a certificate of appropriateness, COA 2022-00204, and find the proposed major work at 40 Dundee Road is consistent with the historical district standards and is deemed congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District based on testimony given, the material submitted, and the findings of fact.
I hear a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Again, I'll poll, just for the sake of the argument, we'll start with Terry on the right. Be sure everyone's paying attention.
Or not. You're the first vote.
Yes.
John, yes.
John, yes.
Kara, yes.
Congratulations. You have your approval to rebuild the new garage. Thank you very
very
much for
much.
your materials and your application.
Y'all have a good holiday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This concludes the public hearing. May I have a motion to close the public hearing and return to the regular
So moved.
commission meeting? Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are now in the regular meeting. This is a public meeting. Anyone who is still remaining here, which doesn't look like there will be anyone, is welcome to stay and observe, but only members of the commission may speak. I think we have two approvals that we see on the screen here of minor work that was approved. David, just before I ask Blanket if there's any other business, I'm sorry, Terry, do you have a question on? How are you coming on your, the work you've been doing?
Well, we have before the commissioners some suggestions which we have yet to debate. So I would suggest that we set a time to do that.
Do we know of any reason why we might not be able to do that 2 o'clock on January 26th, I believe is our next meeting? To set aside a time to go through the work that David has done, proposed additional suggestions for changes to the historic district standards. Is the room available? And then
Yeah,
we
the
will-
room available and is staff available, I guess is the two questions.
I think if we add it on to the regular meeting, we could probably do that.
Prior to the meeting, this is not being used.
Want to do a special meeting?
How many, what is your sense for regular business that may come before us a month hence?
Probably suspect you know at this point.
Well, we actually still have a week or so that people can still submit more. Right
we've
now,
got
we have 2, so.
12 or 13 days, actually, because the meeting's fairly late in January, so I think it's the 28th or 9th.
Till the 29th. They
Yeah.
have till the 29th, so.
Well, the
How
intent-
many do you have in hand at the moment?
2.
Two?
No, we actually got 3. I got 1 as well. 35 Laurel.
We have 2.
I am happy to do it either way. I would have a slight preference for starting at
Early.
maybe even 3 o'clock,
Fine with me.
advance of the next meeting, if that works for you and if the room is available.
John, it doesn't make any difference to me because this is my last meeting.
Oh.
Be my last meeting as well.
Out of courtesy, I'm asking both of you.
Sorry to see you guys leave.
Yeah, well,
That in a minute.
I'm out, I can't be extended, so I've done my 6 years.
I will say
I've had
that
enough.
Oh, he's had enough. So there are two, and
I
you may
know-
want to mention that.
I know that we are looking for new commission members. I actually have one candidate that I'm proposing who I think will be excellent if ultimately.
I gave her 2 names.
Perfect, good, good.
Good. So we're doing it prior to, or do we know?
I'm waiting to see if the room's available at 3.
January.
Thursday, January 26th.
Just before our next meeting.
John, it's going to be quick because you're only going to have 4 for the next meeting unless you get a new body.
Yeah, which ain't going to work.
That will make us very efficient. I would be surprised if
Four out of
we,
it would be a quorum.
Right.
But all 4 would have to vote in favor of. So there would be of whatever you're considering, if it's under the,
I will be surprised if we don't have at least one other person approved by that meeting. But yes, if we are only 4, then we are 4. And if somebody's sick, then we may not be able to operate, so.
Well, we'll get it scheduled. Let us talk to staff and look at the calendar and everything, and we'll get with everyone and schedule it.
Good. So we will tentatively, for Kara and David, for yourself, we'll tentatively say 3 o'clock on the 26th here. That meeting, I don't think, that can be noticed fairly shortly in advance, whereas our formal meeting our next meeting on January 26th is already a matter of public record. We approved that last time, so.
Right. We'll make that tentative, but let us
Yeah.
talk to staff and finalize that.
That will be fine.
okay, so that would be a special meeting then,
Correct.
because it's before the regular meeting.
I guess I would just, although this is my first meeting as chair, I will say thank you to both Tom, certainly for 3 years of service, most of which I've overlapped on, and Terry as well. Thank you for your time and your contributions.
Been a good thing.
And I had to do a little bit of arm twisting, but only a little for the candidate that I'm proposing. But I think this is the work that we do is important. And I hope that the large number of people who turn out every month to hear us are supportive of what we do here. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.
Not all our fans.